All right, it's rivalry week, big game. Any questions? There you go. I'm serious. That's all I got.
How do you view a rivalry week coming up in performance like that? We talked last week about eliminating the noise.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to eliminate the noise, focus more on your mistakes and what this game means to the outside world.
Yeah, I want us to stay the course of what we're trying to do week in and week out. Obviously, there's going to be more excitement and more energy because you're playing a rivalry game. It's in Denver, the Rocky Mountain Showdown. That's going to take care of itself. We got to handle or control what we can control, and that's improving on our mistakes and getting better from week 2 to week 3. And that's hard to do. It's hard for a young man to do. It's hard for coaches to do because you've got a big game and it's a rivalry. But we got to keep preaching the same message that we've done since the day that we got here about we go to work every day and try to improve every day. But, obviously there'll be more attention. There'll be more questions. But we got to stay the course and prepare like we prepared for the first 2 games, which I thought was outstanding. Obviously we didn't get it done last week, but I thought their preparation was there. And we got to eliminate some more mistakes and keep improving.
Despite the outcome of the 2 games, did you see the improvement from week 1 to week 2 that you were hoping to see?
No, I definitely did. We had fewer missed assignments. We were better communicating on both sides of the ball. We improved on the kicking game. We still got to do a better job of taking care of the football offensively. And, that's you got to work on your fundamentals of your footwork sometimes tells you when not to throw a ball placement of outside or inside, the little things. Just saying, hey, we can't turn the ball over is not going to help us not turn it over. We got to work on the things that cause the turnovers. And they're going to be turnovers sometimes of guys making great plays, but we can't, it's simple handoff, and we're turning, run polish, which we work every day. We got to take everything serious to little things of exchanges to ball placement, and then we got to create turnovers on defense too.
George, you certainly know a thing or two about playing these kind of rivalry games. Had some big ones out there. What do you enjoy most about the coaching process during a week like that?
Well, obviously it was a tough loss last week, and sometimes, I say kids take it hard. Coaches probably take it harder than players. Players are a little more resilient. They bounce back and they're ready to go. Where coaches think about every little thing, constantly. But I believe when you have rivalry games, which we have, some here, and obviously this is our first one, it's easier to bounce back, after a tough loss or a big win. As a coach, you like these type of games because kids focus. They're a lot more focused starting on day one because they know what a big week it is, and because it being a rivalry game.
How will you approach your quarterback situation going into this week and really for the remainder of the season?
What was the first part, Kelly?
Quarterbacks, just how do you
How do I?
approach that this week in practice and really going through the course of the season at this point?
Well, a lot of that's determined on how they play. We've got to be able to move the ball offensively and not turn it over. Like I said, after the game, obviously there was a spark when Coleman came in. He completed the pass, but Coleman missed some guys too. Both guys did. And the thing for me is we don't have to be heroic at that position. We got to be able to make a routine play. We got to be able to throw it in the flat and complete the guy and hit him in stride. We got to hit open guys. Are we going to miss guys at times? Yes. That happens. And we knew going in that was going to be a tough defense to get. We weren't going to be able to complete as many balls or as high percentage as we did the week before. We knew that because some of the plays were going to have to be downfield. That's where you had to complete balls against Minnesota. So obviously your percentage goes down from that point. But both guys are going to come in and work. Nick Stevens is going to work in the first team today, and we'll give Coleman some first team reps like he has had in the past and plan on getting him in the series. And a lot of be dependent on how they practice, but nothing good ever happened for Nick, and it wasn't necessarily Nick's fault. In the first play of the game, we didn't run actually a great route in the framework of the receiver. He's throwing it where he's supposed to, but that's an interception on him. So but that's part of playing that position. That's part of playing that position. You know, there's praise and there's criticism, and I feel like he's in a good place after the meeting this morning, and I feel like he'll be ready to go and go out and lead this football team. But we're going to get both guys ready like we have in every game. And at the end of the day, at any position we have, we're going to play the guy that gives us the best chance to win the ball game. But I still have a lot of confidence in Nick Stevens.
Is that one of the things you want to watch particularly this week is he's a young quarterback. He had a great game his first
Right.
game, probably too easy for him maybe in some ways. Last week was tough. How he handles both sides of the ledger.
Yeah, that's, you know, I've been saying that since day one. Both of them are young. Both of them are going to make mistakes. We got to do a good job coaching to limit those mistakes. We got to see how they handle that pressure of that position. You know, we're going to come out and we're going to, you know, forget it and let's move on, or is it going to weigh on us and we're afraid to pull the trigger now because we made mistakes? I don't think that's going to be the case. And then we got to play well. We got to play better around a young quarterback. You know, we can't, you know, turn guys free in protection. We can't, you know, not run the proper routes. You know, we got to make plays for those guys. You know, and they got to continue to improve. You know, the goal is to get them confidence as we keep going and we get in this conference run. You know, they're confident enough to make some plays to help us win some ball games.
Did you feel like you went beyond quarterback? Because I think right at the time you brought in Coleman, you also made a change at center.
That was just the situation of the game. We were going to play Jake Bennett and get Trey in. When Trey came in, we were going to move Jake to center, and that was just the flow of the game right there.
Is there kind of a fine line for you as to how you handle that with the quarterbacks? I mean, obviously you're going to play the guy that's getting the team going, but you've also got two young guys that you're trying to develop some confidence in. How?
Yeah, it's an extremely fine line, you know, because you know, it's a touchy situation, you know, when you take a guy out of a game, another guy comes in and plays well. But I think you got to just reaffirm your belief in him, which I do believe in him, and our coaches believe in Nick, and he's got to believe in himself, and he's got to go out and perform. At the same time, we got to get the backup guy ready because both are young. If something were to happen, you know, injury-wise, he's got to play. So we got to get both experience. You know, we played my first years at Georgia. We played two quarterbacks with DJ Shockley and David Green, and David was the starter. And, you know, I'm not saying we're going that direction right now. Nick Stevens is the starter, but that's why you practice. And, you know, that's why you compete. But, you know, like I told Nick when we gave him or named him the starter, it's not going to be a short leash. You know, we got to learn and we got to grow through mistakes, and I meant it. You know. And I didn't think it was a short leash on Saturday. We just needed something. We needed a spark, something offensively. And you know, I don't know if Coleman gave us that or, you know, but him ripping that pass in there and Joe making a big play did.
Is it your primary concern right now, though, is the amount of turnovers that you've had?
Yeah. We're and the only way I know how to correct that is to keep working on the fundamentals of ball security, running back to quarterback exchange, and then the fundamentals of progressing in routes and your feet telling you where to go with the ball. You know, if you tell a guy, hey, we can't turn the ball over, then they're afraid to pull the trigger, you know, as a quarterback. I want them confident, see it, throw it, your feet tell you to do it. But it is a concern. But that happens when you have young quarterbacks. Your turnovers are higher. Every year I've had a young quarterback. The turnovers have been higher. You know, I've had new quarterbacks that were older. They kind of understood, but every time it's a young guy that's new, tend to have a little bit more turnovers. But still, this is a lot more than I'm used to. Hopefully, we're done for a while.
Do you feel like you have more just kind of figuring out who to put where at different times on this team, and maybe a lot of people have for you? Because you do still have a lot of guys who you want to get a better look at them in game situations, whether it's the center, whether it's your running backs, your receivers, your quarterback. Do you feel like there's more of that going on this year than in a normal year?
Well, yes, because we're a new coaching staff. You know, we got an idea of who we are and what we think we're about. But, we found out a lot more about who we were this past Saturday, because we were tested, which was a good test. And I feel good where this football team is. But there is still some figuring out when, Rashard Higgins doesn't play and then Vaden goes down, play 3, and we got guys playing in some different spots that we didn't think they were going to play. But that's part of coaching. That's part of, you want to continue to develop guys, and just because something's set in stone, nothing's really set in stone. Let me change that. Just because something say, hey, is a depth chart and we feel like this guy is, but I keep talking about it and I keep telling this team when they're in here that there's constant competition, especially on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, to show that you can move up. And I mean that. I'm not just because a guy's a starter, you still got to perform, and that's at all positions. So, it doesn't bother me if it's week 5. If somebody's outperforming some guy that hadn't played a lot, then we're gonna play him. The best player's going to play, whether he's a freshman, a senior, starter, third-team guy from Colorado, from California, from Texas, from Florida. It doesn't really matter because I owe it to everybody.
I was going to say, is that potentially a good thing, though, as opposed to maybe you come into a situation where there's only 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, and you feel comfortable putting into a game?
No, that's a great. I think that's an excellent point. It's like I told the offensive staff last night. I said, yes, 82 wasn't there, but we're good. We're still good enough to move the ball and be successful. We got to clean up on the little things, the mistakes our positions are making, and we got to make sure they're prepared. We can't sit around and say, hey, 82's out there, make a play, throw a post. That to me, that's an excuse. We got talented players. At receiver, at tight end, at running back, to be successful. Now we got a young quarterback, but those guys at those positions, we got to do a better job of coaching those guys, where they understand the game plan, and they, and their errors are less than the young quarterback.
Defensively, did you feel like your team answered some questions, especially in terms of they didn't stop the run so well last year, to how they actually played this week and took on a very tough physical run game?
Yeah, I was very pleased with the defense. The effort, the physicality. We were a lot more disciplined defensively in our communication and getting lined up and playing proper technique. Now we had a handful of plays, which happened, but I didn't think that let them bother them. It was what I envisioned when I talked about a defense of our guys playing fast, playing physical, playing with heart, and it was a good thing to see. And really, I've been preaching, since I've got here to those defensive guys that we're young. We're young at tailback, we're young at quarterback. We got some issues inside up front with the center coming back last year off the labrum and ACL, and playing some new guys in there after losing 2 guys up front. And you're the seniors. The majority of our seniors are on defense, and we need them to lead. We need them to set the example, and if we want to get where we want to go, they have to play well early and continue to play well throughout the season. And I'm really pleased where they're at. Now, have we arrived and doing everything we want? No. We got to continue to improve and create some. We're still trying to create some competition there. And the defensive side, we got to play more guys up front. We had 2 guys play over 80 snaps in Martavius and Kawulok, which is too many snaps for a defensive lineman. We got to find us, backup nickel when DeAndre went down. We got to create some competition this week, and we've talked to some guys that they got to come out and compete and let us know they're dependable to put in the game. We're not going to just play a guy because, hey, we got to play. You got to earn it.
Is that one of the things you're encouraged by? Those, like you said, you haven't arrived, but you're playing well. You're still in growth vector.
Yeah, I think that's the best part about it. How hard we played and the angles and the pursuit and everything we're doing, but we still can get better. And I believe those defensive players feel that. And even though we lost and even though they scored there at the end, they feel a sense of pride that we're playing pretty good defense. And we can get better defensively. And, we want to be a dominant defense. I think that's the key to getting where you want to go, is being good on defense, and we're working in that direction. Overall, we talk about three things. We talk about toughness, effort, and discipline. I think we played extremely tough on Saturday. We played with extremely amount of effort. We weren't disciplined enough, and that falls on myself and the other coaches. We got to get guys doing what they're supposed to do all the time and being more disciplined. Now, when you play extremely hard and you talk about playing extremely physical, sometimes penalties happen. But we had some penalties that happened because we were undisciplined. We had some turnovers happen because we were undisciplined, and that falls on me to make sure that we're not putting too much in, or we're getting it coached the way it should be. But as far as playing tough and playing with effort, I couldn't be more proud of how they played.
Is it safe to say you learned more about your team in this game than the opener?
Yeah, I would say so. It was a test, and talked about it being a fight. We knew what they were going to try to do, and there was going to be a lot of blows back and forth, but we were not going to tap out, so to speak, fight to the end, and they did exactly that. And then we just had to, we didn't finish in overtime. Really didn't give ourselves a chance in overtime with a turnover on the first play, which is, it was crushing, but that happened. That's why you play the game. You go out there, there's going to be a winner and loser, and we didn't get it done.
You got three rivalry games you got to play this year. You learn the nuances between the different ones.
I got this as the Centennial Cup, correct?
Yeah.
All right, I got that. We're playing. What's the name of the field we're playing at? Sports Authority and what's the name of it now? Sports Authority Field in Mile High. Okay, Mile High, which I'm excited about. Playing in the Georgia-Florida game for so many years, which we played in Jacksonville, where the crowd was split 50-50. I always thought that was a neat thing. That you have half and half, and the passion for the game. And I know how excited everybody is for this game, because everywhere I've been across the state since I took the job, it's always about the CU game, and where our fan base is passionate about it, and I'm sure theirs is too. And it should be a great game. Got two teams that are 1-1 and are fighting and going to claw, and I expect a hard-fought game between the two teams. And
You don't have to leave the state, but you get to treat this like your first road game.
oh yeah, we'll travel on Friday and stay in a hotel. So this will be, basically we travel on Friday and stay at the Hilton here. So it'll be the same format, except we'll drive however long it takes to whatever hotel we're staying at. But it'll be the exact same thing. We'll meet here, have our walkthroughs here, then we'll get on a bus and go to a hotel. It'll just be a farther bus ride. So we try to keep everything the same in that sense, and the only difference is we'll be dressing at the stadium instead of dressing in our home locker room. But
Do you have any top memory from a rivalry game that you either played or coached in?
yeah, there's probably my favorite as a player was 97 when we were playing Georgia Tech, and they took the lead, and we're driving down the field, and I throw an interception, and we get a holding call. They called pass interference, but it was probably holding, so I know that's why the Tech people get mad. But then the next play, we threw a touchdown pass with 14 or 8 seconds left to win the game. That was probably my favorite as a player. As a coach, there's so many. But beating Florida when they were ranked number 2 in the country was a big win. Especially Georgia, Florida. Florida had owned the series for so long, and to come back and win a couple or 2 or 3 in a row, and one of those was to beat the number 2 was a big win. Coach Rick's first year when we're playing there were so many rivalries at Georgia, playing Tennessee there, and Tennessee ended up playing LSU in the SEC championship, and if they'd have beat them, they'd have played for the national championship. They only lost one game that year. It's when they had Haynesworth, and I can't remember the other D-line. They were awesome. And we scored on the little fullback up the middle to beat them. Same play we tried to Navali. And we tried a lot of the plays that were we'd run at Georgia. Same play to win the game there at the end, and that was kind of Coach Rick starting that program, trying to build it, and to go on the road against a rival. They hadn't beat Tennessee in like 8 years, and he's preaching finish. Play 60 minutes, and they found a way to win that game. A rivalry game in Knoxville was, as a coach, was a kind of jump-started his program and getting guys to believe in finishing. So that's, one that there's a lot of them. There's a lot of sad ones too. That's what happens when you play the game. Both ends. Auburn, Georgia. It's probably one of my favorite. I'm rambling right now, but Auburn, Georgia, 2013, when we're down 20 in the fourth quarter, and Aaron Murray basically puts it on his shoulders and brings us back, and we score to take the lead late in the fourth quarter, and then they hit the Hail Mary where it tips off somebody's hands, an 80-yard touchdown. That was one of the more memorable ones that hurts. But that's a big rivalry game that was a great game, and probably one of my fondest because of the way Murray played his senior year when some receivers were hurt, and he just kind of led the team.
That's one of the things I was going to ask you. Is you want your team to believe in themselves and believe in the guys. When you play a game without Rashard, and DeAndre goes down, and Baden goes down early, did you see that in your team, that they still believe in the guys that you can put on the field and the guys that they're calling teammates at the time, no matter who's on the sideline?
Yeah, I think so. They played hard for everybody the whole game, the whole game I just kept, turning around and say, believe me, we're going to win this football game. We're going to win this football game, and we didn't. But the look in their eye, they believed. I was like, just play the next play, and it was funny. We something happened. I think we had a positive play and got a penalty, and I'm acting like an idiot, and I hear Trent Matthews behind me, play the next play, coach, play the next play, forget about it, which, shows that, hey, they believe, let's just line up and play the next play. That's the only thing we control is the next play. I'm always talking to them about bad things are going to happen, expect setbacks, and then I'm out there acting like an idiot when we have a setback. So that was good that one of the players put me in my place.
We talked to you last week, just kind of what it was like after that first win as a head coach. What was the weekend like after the first loss?
Well,
Was it a lot different or not?
no, it was it hurts. It hurts. You put so much into it, and I think that's what makes it great. Is the winning is such a high and the losing is such a low. Those emotions that you have, and but you feel the hurt for your guys when you walk in that locker room and you see the pain, not only physically because they played their tails off, but mentally just drained. But as a coach, when they play the way that you ask them to play, there's a sense of pride about it, and which I told them, but like I also told them what I told you guys afterwards, is still bottom line business. It's wins and losses, and we lost the game, and we got to learn from it, and we got to figure out a way to finish better next time as a football team. But I try to separate it, when I go home, and it helps when your kids run up and give you a hug. And one of my daughters tells my wife, I'm gonna make Daddy smile right here by giving him a hug. It does, but then it's just it plays over and over in your mind. That's what yesterday was for, to watch it again and go through it again a couple times. But now we're on to Colorado because we got a huge rivalry game against an in-state opponent that I'm excited about. I know our players are excited about, and that's our focus. We got to move on, whether it's a win or a loss. And you hear coaches say it all the time, but I'm excited that we get to play Colorado this week, and I know our kids are going to be excited.
Any thoughts on Rashard?
Well, we're very hopeful on Rashard, and that's what I got. I'm hopeful about it. Well, y'all will be out there in individual, and hopefully you see him running around good. So we'll see. It's going to be, I think it's pain tolerance, and up to the trainers. I don't get to say, hey, get out there, Rashard. That's a decision that Terry and his staff make, but we're hopeful for it. And again, if he doesn't play this week, he doesn't play, but I feel like we got enough guys to go to battle with, and I expect those guys to get ready. There's an issue with Rashard and Vaden, both banged up, and we got to do a good job of coaching, figure out where we're going to put people, but I expect whoever's there to be ready to play and play well.
So do you have a rough idea who would be there if both of them are unavailable?
Well, Xavier Williams played there a lot on Saturday, which probably wasn't fair to him. He's played mostly flanker. Sammy Long will get more looks. Cole Anderson, here's his opportunity again. Had a great spring and, been a little bit slow this fall, but had a good couple days this past week. He's going to have another opportunity to step up at that position. And, you got Joe Hansley, you can move over there, Elroy. We got veteran guys that know all the positions. We just got to figure out where those guys go and which piece fits the puzzle. But, I feel like whoever's there is going to have to step up and play well, and we're going to believe in them as coaches, and the players are going to believe in them, and we'll get a plan together that they can execute.
Who backs up DeAndre if you need that?
DeAndre, Preston, went to the field corner, and Tyree was the boundary. We had Januska at the nickel, and we're going to look at some other guys at nickel this week, along with Nick Januska. He'll still be there, but and Braylon Scott has got to come on. We got to keep pushing Braylon, to help out at corner where we can keep Preston in at the nickel. But we got to develop some depth at the secondary when we got to go three corners. We're playing exclusively three the last game. So we got to keep pushing Braylon. He's young, he's raw, he's going to make some mistakes, kind of like, when you got a young quarterback. But you got to put him out there. If you don't put them out there, then they're never going to learn and they're never going to grow. So we got to be willing to put guys out there that we feel are talented enough to make plays. If we're afraid they're going to make a mistake, then we're not going to grow. They're going to make mistakes. That's what freshmen do. But the only way they learn from them is you put them out there.
What are the things that stand out watching that?
Well, I think there's, first their offense, is extremely explosive to me when I watch them on tape. Last year, they're as toward the year got going. Last year, you watch them offense, they started clicking and rolling up a lot of yards and a lot of points, and we're in a lot of ball games. They just didn't find a way to finish those ball games. You got a receiver. 22 that Spruce that he just break their career reception record? I think he did. He's a savvy route runner, knows how to work zone, knows how to work man, catches the ball well with his hands, does a nice job. I think 23 Lindsey, the back, is a very good running back, runs hard. He's not that big, but he runs powerful. Reminds me a lot like Dawkins on our football team. Got this receiver named Bobo. He's probably the best in the country, I mean, he's really good. But they're very offensively. They know what they're doing. They do a nice job spreading around, fast pace, running the zones, the force protectors behind it. They stress you out defensively because they'll spread you out. Defensively, obviously they've switched defensive staffs and coordinators, and we got two games. Hawaii, Hawaii runs a lot of 11 personnel, which we run, but they don't run hardly any two-back. UMass got in some two-back stuff. And then we've been watching a ton of San Francisco 49ers tape where Coach Levitt was from, and even some South Florida tape, which that was a while ago. So who knows, what we're going to get there. But to me, you see guys playing hard on defense. Number 4 really stands out to me. He plays their nickel. He's very athletic and active and looks like he loves to play the game. We got 2 outside backers in 95, 98 that do an outstanding job that are long. One is McCartney's grandson, I believe 95. Long and athletic, which when you turn on the 49er tape, you see long and athletic guys playing the outside backer. You see Alden Smith wearing number 99, and it's 59 that the 49ers had. It's 49er tape scary when you watch it. They're pretty good on defense. Number 2, the corner is an excellent, got skill set. But we don't have a lot to study defensively. So that was one of the, I do like playing the rivalry game first. I always wish we'd moved Georgia Tech first, especially when I was at Georgia, because they ran the option. We could prepare for it. But this year I'm glad we play CU third because of the change with the coordinator. So we at least got a little film to study. And then he's got film to study of us and what we are. But, at the end of the day, we got to go up. We got to recognize what they're in. We got to identify, 3 down, 4 down. It's the same thing when you play these 3-4 teams that blend, 3 down to 4 down. Who's the big? Is he in a 3? Is he in a 4-eye? Is he in a 5 technique? And sometimes that's a little bit more difficult for teams that don't go against 3-4 every day. We go against 4-3. When we were at Georgia in the last 4 years, when it was Todd Grantham and Jeremy Pruitt, and we went against 3-4 every day, it was easier to identify for our kids. And we went to a 4-3, they was kind of like, oh, it was foreign. Now it's the reverse for me a little bit as an offensive coach. But, I see a team hungry. They didn't win the first game in Hawaii, but I saw a team that played hard to the bitter end, had a chance to win it, and unfortunate there at the end. I see a team that came out after a disappointing loss, take care of business against UMass, which it's kind of close there in the first half. But they stayed true to their plan for that game, and that was to hammer the ball and run it and make sure that they got that W, and they did a nice job. And now, they're 1-1 just like us, and, I know how important the game is to them as well, and I know they'll be ready to play. Yeah, I'm sure they're watching Georgia tape. Yeah. They probably called a few people and asked some things, but we're a little bit different in Georgia. And he's different. I'm different. He was at San Francisco, and different he was at South Florida. But you're going to watch everything, and we chase way too many ghosts as coaches and try to find something, and then you overcoach your players, and then they become paralyzed out there thinking about some clip from 1999 that you ran against this guy in a 3-4, so it happens. Anybody got any questions besides these two? Anybody? I mean, y'all need to start sitting over here, okay? Because all I do is look in this direction. There you go. We got 2 questions. Any questions? You don't get to eat pizza if you don't ask a question, okay?
So your quarterback.
There you go.
Some big rivalry games. Do you give any advice to Nick and Coleman before this being their first game?
Yeah. Yeah, I say poise and confidence. That's what it's about. You got to have poise, and you got to be confident in yourself. That's the only, Then I had this old coach used to say it's like a can of corn. And I never knew what he meant, but he was basically saying it's easy like opening a can of corn, I guess. But he'd always come up to me and go, can of corn. I'd be like, okay, coach. But just, hey, have poise. You got to be poised at that position. If you throw a bad ball or throw a pick or, you can't, you got to believe in yourself, have confidence, and go play the next play. And, I believe we're getting that at the other positions. We got to get that at the quarterback, which sometimes is the toughest, man, because all eyes are on the quarterback. What were all the questions about? The quarterback. So, sometimes you feel that pressure, and I've been in those shoes. And another piece of advice, you got one coach, and that's me. Okay, your mama loves you, your daddy loves you, your girlfriend loves you. They're not your coach. Okay, you say thanks. I love you too, Mom. I love you too. But you're listening to me. You listen to that other stuff, then you're not going to get where we want to get you to go.
Did you hear any comments from your dad about your sideline? You showed more emotion this last week.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't say. I got with Pastor Square this morning. He got on me a little bit about some of my language, which I'm working on. But I just got. I told y'all at the beginning of the year I didn't know what I would be like there, and sometimes I'm into the game and got to calm down a little bit more. It was very evident when I'm upset after a call and one of the players says play the next play. He's reminded what I'm telling him to do. Hey, forget, let's go, play the next play. But I still got to be who I am. If I try to be somebody else, then the players will see through it that I'm trying to be somebody I'm not. But I that's how I played. That's how I've always coached. You know, I want our players to see that I'm passionate about them and what they're doing. And I think our fan base saw how hard our guys played. And I hope they appreciate that and show up and support them, because they played their tails off, for not just for them but for Colorado State. And that, you know, that to me is a sign that, you know, we're heading where I would like this place to go. And because it's about building, you know, that passion for this program. Because we want to be one of the best in the country, you know, at everything. And football is what I'm in charge of, and we don't want to settle for anything less than excellence.
Well, you had a punter and a kicker both recognized as women's weekly awards.
That's right.
So it's got to feel good at least.
Yeah.
Come out of this.
The punter did an outstanding job, you know, of flipping the field when it's basically a field position game. The whole game, I mean, I think we both set records on how many times to punt, us in Minnesota, in that game. I think they had 9 too, right? It was 9-9. It was a punt off, you know, and we were keeping them. I think we ended up with 7 more yards of field position, you know, the average starting field position. And Hayden did an outstanding job of that, of just flipping the field over and over again. And it's hard, you know, when you're backed up, it's hard to go 80 yards. I don't care who you are. And if you don't have explosive plays, and neither side really had that explosive play. They hit that one bubble, and we hit the one, you know, the one pass. But if somebody had to drive it all the way down, it was tough. You know, at the end they got it down there. But then our kicker to come in and make 2 field goals. I mean, after he missed one and had missed a PAT last week, and you know, to make a game time field goal with 5 seconds left, you know, he's going to do nothing but give him confidence, I hope. All right.
Definitely for a rivalry game, that's always huge. It just happens that it's this week.
But for a kid that used to sell parking spaces to CU fans growing up, this game mean a little bit more to you, especially this being your last go-around?
Yeah, it's real important to me, and I think it is to everyone on the team. But yeah, we're just looking to go out there and get a win.
Nothing extra special for you when it's CU?
Not really. It's just a week-to-week thing, and this week it just happens to be CU.
Does it mean a little bit more to you this year because of the way your defense is playing? I mean, do you have a unit where you go in kind of sky-high confidence-wise?
Yeah, we do. It's a lot more aggressive style of defense, and you know, we take the film from every week before, correct our mistakes, and learn from it. And I think that's going to help us a lot going into this week.
What about the way you're playing, though, has you most excited as a defense?
Just how aggressive it is, and how much excitement there is on the field. And I think you saw a lot of that last week against Minnesota.
Under Coach Summers, is there more emphasis on getting pass rush from just the defensive line itself?
Yeah, there's always a big emphasis for us to get a pass rush and get a quarterback hit or put some pressure on them, because we never want them to feel comfortable in the pocket.
Joe, Coach talked about you and Martavis playing 2 plays. He said you guys played 80 plays apiece or something like that. He said that's true. Did you feel fatigued, or were you fine with it?
I was fine with that. I didn't really feel it at all, but yeah, we'll see what we're going to do this week if we get a rotation going.
How much do you think it could help to get a rotation going?
It could. A lot of guys on our D-line are better at different aspects of the game. So I think getting each other in different situations is going to help us out a lot.
Did you kind of expect that, to see more time on the field, especially with the third down package, then when you and Martavis inside to help with the rush?
Yeah, I did. Ever since camp, that's what it was like. So we knew going into this game what our personnel was.
Well, when you look and see what stands out, I don't know how much chance you got to see them. Are there things that stand out about them as a team to you?
They're going to be a good physical team, and they're going to give us everything they have, and we'll do the same.
How much more do you think you guys learned about who you are in this loss to Minnesota than you did in that opening win over Savannah State?
I think the biggest emphasis on learning who we were was how close we are as a family, and specifically for defense as a unit. We all held each other up after the game. It was a tough loss, but take the film, learn from it, and get better.
Does Zeppo look any difference facing him as a quarterback than some others? I mean, he's a guy that's obviously just faced a quarterback that will tuck it and run some. He'll do the same. Does that change things for you a lot, or not?
Not as much on D-line. He's a athletic guy, so we just faced one that's very similar to him, and we'll be ready.
Anything else?
Well, really, kind of what's your favorite memory of this game so far? You have a chance to win this game back to back, which hasn't been done in a while. Your class can win this game 3 or 4 times. What are your favorite memories? What do you hope most to take away from this one?
Favorite memory was winning last year. It was a start of the season, so I think that was a great way to start things off, and we want to do the same this year.
Joe, could this be somewhat of a pivotal game for this team? Big difference between being 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 in a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah.
Just that one loss. Is it one that could be a real tone setter, one way or the other, for what happens the rest of the year?
Yeah, it is definitely. It's a week-to-week thing. You never want to look behind or look forward. It's focus on that week and that day for preparation.
Yeah, big game.
You know, there's always that little extra oomph when it's CU week. But yeah, we're just gonna prepare like it's any other week, like any other game.
You guys giving Coach Bobo some pointers about some nuances to this game at all? Or?
I haven't talked to him about it. I'm sure some people have, but you know, I'm sure he knows. You know, how big the rivalry is and how big this game is.
When do you really start to feel rivalry? Is it during the week of practice, or is it really right before game time?
For me, you know, I kind of feel it during that first week. So Monday today, you know, you kind of see the opponent and kind of get the initial scout for them. So that's really when it sets in that, you know, this is a big week. It's rivalry week, and really got to do everything you got to do to go out and get a win.
How different is it this year without it being the opener? Last couple of years, it's been the opener.
Yeah, it's a little different, but you know, if anything, it just gave us a little more time to kind of figure us out as a team before we play CU. But you know, like I was saying earlier, we still got to prepare like it's any other game. You know, the on the field stuff might be a little different as far as the chippiness and talking a little trash from each side, but you know, as far as a game, it's just like any other week.
Personally, for you, I mean, do you feel like it brings out the best in you as a player? You've had some pretty big moments in this game in the past.
You know, yeah, I was fortunate enough to make some plays in this game, but you know, I think it brings out the best in every player on the team. Everyone wants to go out and do their best against, you know, the other school in the state, but you know, really it's just like any other week, to be honest. We just got to go out and prepare like it is.
To those of you who are from Colorado, they'll put a little more coaching, a little bit more talking to your teammates that are from out of state about what this game means to you guys.
You know, everyone's always asking that. You know, I get asked if I was recruited by CU or if there's, you know, a little animosity there about, you know, me not getting offered by them and coming here. But, you know, really I'm happy where I came, and I'm happy here in Fort Collins. So, you know, I don't really go out and tell my teammates anything extra being from Colorado. But, you know, we just got to prepare like it is any other game.
Do you feel like you and your teammates have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder when you go into this game every year?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be
No
like –
matter who's favored, no matter what the records are?
yeah, just because, you know, it's CU. We don't like them, they don't like us, so let the games begin.
You mean a little extra. I mean, with you being a senior, you can win this game 3 out of 4 years, win it back to back, which this program hasn't done very much. Does that add a little bit more drive for you guys as you exit the program?
Yeah, you know, it gives you a little extra push to, you know, maybe get that rep that much harder during the week or you know, make everything that much more perfect. So, yeah, I definitely think that that gives us a little bit of a push.
You guys wanted to own all 3 rivalry trophies. This is your last chance to do it.
You know, it's tough to do. You know, it's always a challenge with Air Force, Wyoming, and CU to win them all, but I think we can do it this year, but it starts this week. So, you know, if we don't go get it done this week, we can't even think about those future ones.
Joe, over the past 6 seasons, the series is 3-3. Over the past 4, it's 2-2. How would that feel for you to lead with the season
it would put me on a little high note, beating CU 3 out of the 4 years I was here. If anything, it just adds a little something for my buddies who go to CU and, all the friends I have that go here and there. So, if anything, it just adds a little extra, little trash talk for me, for my friends. But other than that, yeah, it would just be nice to win 3 out of 4.
Do you have some good friends who go to school there?
Yeah, I have a lot of good friends that go there, so it'll be an interesting week. One of my teammates, actually 2 of my teammates play for CU, so from high school. So I'll be talking to them during the week, letting them know that I'll be there.
Do you sense they still see you more as equals now, or is there still that little brother?
I don't really know. I haven't looked into, as far as like what the media says about each team. I kind of try to stay away from that and just prepare for the game how it is. But I know that's how it is, just because they're in the, they're in a Power 5 and we're in the Mountain West. But at the end of the day, it's what you do on the field.
You get that from your friends though?
Sometimes. They'll joke around about it, but I like to say we're better than them anyway. So I'll just bring it right back to them.
What's confidence like from the offensive perspective, the way you watched your defense play last week, especially against Minnesota?
Yeah, the defense played lights out last week. They really gave us a chance to win, and the offense just needed to do more. But, with the defense playing like that, I went up to a lot of the guys, and I was like, it's going to be tough for us to lose a game if you guys continue to play like you did, like they did against Minnesota. So I think it's given them a lot of confidence to know that they can stop some pretty powerful guys. And, that's kind of what defense is. You got to play with passion and you got to play with emotion, and they definitely did that on Saturday, so they'll carry it out the rest of the season.
From a receiver standpoint, what's the quarterback situation like to you guys?
That's up to be determined for this week. It's Monday. We'll see who they have out there run with the ones and run with the twos. But, as a receiver, you still just got to go out and run your route and trust that the quarterback will get you the ball.
Are there differences in the way that you throw the ball, or is it similar enough that it doesn't matter much to you guys?
There's differences in the way they throw the ball. Yeah, Nick's more of a timing guy, and Coleman's kind of just got to rock it. That's nothing new. Everyone kind of knows that. But, at the end of the day, if the ball comes and hits you in the hands, you just got to catch it.
They're both young, so obviously all eyes are on how they were going to react to whatever happened. Were you impressed with how Nick handled a down day after people had anointed him great quarterback after all?
Yeah, I talked to Nick after the game and kind of just told him, things will figure itself out. And I know he talked to Coach Bobo, so, I'm trying to stay out of that situation. Nick's his own person, and Coleman is his own guy. So that'll be something that Coach Bobo figures out. But, I know Nick's a strong kid mentally, so I don't think he'll have any problems with what happened.
What's it like playing at Sports Authority? Does that bring any extra value to the game?
Oh, it's fun. The stadium gets packed for this game, so with the fans there and, you got all of CU there and then all of CSU, so it definitely brings a good atmosphere, and it's just more fun to play in when you have more fans.
You probably went to that game some as a kid when it was selling out and all that. What would you like to get it back to that level?
That would be huge. In order for that to happen, both teams are going to need to win a lot of games. To sell out a stadium that big it's a pretty hard thing to do. But yeah, if it did get back to that level, I don't know what attendance is supposed to be like this year, but at the end of the day, you're still playing a football game, so you don't really want to worry about the crowd too much.
It's going to be long after you're gone, but there's these 2 years coming up where these teams aren't going to play each other. How disappointing would it be to not have a CU on the schedule?
I know I'd be upset just because, a lot of the Colorado guys, like when you're growing up in Colorado and being recruited out here, 2 bigger schools that you kind of want to go to are CSU and CU. So, a lot of guys who do get offered by one or the other definitely want a shot at that other team. So it's disappointing that they're not going to play eventually, but, I'll be moved on by then.
Do you think whoever wins or loses this game makes any difference in the recruiting process when you have an in-state kid that's being recruited by both? Do you think they pay much attention to who wins the game, or are they looking at so many other things that's not much of a factor?
I don't know. High school kids, when you're coming out of high school, you're still young, and sometimes you don't, keep your mind on the more important things. So it could affect recruiting a little bit if an in-state guy sees that, whichever team wins, if he makes his decision off that, you know, I personally wouldn't, but, you know, some high school kids might.
All right, you guys all right? Anything else?
Thanks, John.
Cool. Thank you.
Appreciate it.